Bow down to the cosmic general and Sean Dust. I wanted to start off this edition of Cageside Live with your boy Sean and General Geno Morosco with something happy, my new favorite thing in the universe, the Lords of Darkness, Stardust and King Barrett, before we started bitching about everything else that went wrong last night on Raw.
You're the worst.
There you have it. How's it going, General?
It's going good. You're the worst, though.
I'm spending time thinking about my intros now. You gave me a complex about them.
Oh, I did?
I know I need to get some gloves, though. It wasn't as good. But everybody knew what was coming.
I thought, you know what's funny? When I first saw you do that, I thought AJ Styles.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
so I was like, what the fuck is he? Like, get ready to fly. And then you're like, Stardust. And I'm like, oh, okay. Which is funny because I'm basically only WWE at this point. I don't watch anything else. I don't have time for it.
Yeah, I hear
So
you.
it's like, yeah. So, Raw.
Geno
time.
Geno, yes, people have been promised Geno time on this. So
pretty hot. Pretty hot about this.
All right, you want to start with this? You want to jump
let's just
right
get
in?
right in.
All right, let's do it.
Shut up, Sean. So, no, really.
No, really, shut up.
No, really, no, that's all right. Holy fucking shit. Just before Raw goes on the air, WWE starts sending out their blasts that we're going to get a champion versus champion match on the show. Sasha Banks, the NXT Women's Champion, which wasn't mentioned, and she does not have her title in the promo graphic, against Divas Champion, Nikki Bella, which was mentioned. This is Nikki, who defends this title less than Dean. There's just too much paperwork involved, Ambrose. So
28 days till she breaks the record.
And she is about to break the record, hasn't defended her title since Vietnam. So this match is going to happen. Okay. I don't agree with it. Right off the bat, there's a problem. You didn't promote the match other than right before the show was going on the air. You're giving away a champion versus champion match for free on a Raw, unadvertised, for no good reason in any way. This is just the Steve Austin quit a company over booking like this. Walked out. So this is stupid as shit. This is the wrong decision. Why would you do this? Then the show gets to rolling, and we're deep. We're 2.5 hours into this show, and they still haven't shown up. Oh, there they are. They're the last match. They're not the main event, though. Don't tell me they're the main event. You are the main event if you go on last, period. So they go on second to last. They have what can only be described as a typical Divas match in the sense that it was our boy Vidance laid out all the problems with it, how they were working babyface, heel, one alignment before a commercial break, and when they came back, they just switched mid-match. No sense of the psychology of the match itself, which, of course, the fans have no idea how to react to this. No one cares. They're in Minneapolis. This crowd has not seen either Paul Heyman or Brock Lesnar. It's his hometown. They've been waiting for almost 4 hours to see Brock Lesnar.
There's a Superstars taping before this too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They've taped Superstars. Yep. Getting into the building is a pain in the ass. I mean, it is a pain in the ass. To sit through such a long plotting, whatever. Like, they opened this show running down the card. Like, that's actually, they spent 10 minutes coming up this Sunday.
That's your girl.
Of course, it's Stephanie McMahon. I love her. She has everything that is life. She's all. She's above and beyond.
She's a big problem with this Divas angle, but
she's a huge problem with it. Absolutely. So they're waiting for their guy, and of course, when the match breaks down and they switch alignments, and Nikki's completely fucking missing on kicks off the ropes, and it's to a point where they've given us every reason not to care about this. They start chanting, "We want Lesnar. Fuck this." And now people are blaming the fans like they did something wrong here, which is complete horseshit. I can understand you get upset at the fans when they go into business for themselves. This isn't that. They're not going into business for themselves here. This is a very clear look. I don't care about what's going on in the ring. Yes, it is a blatant show of disrespect to the people in the ring. That's true. However, don't feed me a shit sandwich and then fucking tell me that I need to just accept it and be happy with it and not say anything because I don't like shit because it might be disrespectful to the 2 slices of bread. Fuck off. All right? This was garbage. In wrestling, we were talking about the Brock Lesnar, Dana White. Now, we're all about this pro wrestling's fake bullshit that's going on, but it is fake. It's true. It's scripted. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yep.
Anything in pro wrestling only means something because they tell you it means something, because they make it mean something, because they create the meaning. They book it to mean something. The NXT Women's Championship means something because it's been booked accordingly, because people have fought and bled and broken bones for that title. That title's supposed to, it represents something that people have actually given and sacrificed so much for. That's what makes it mean something. And you create that by putting it in prime slots, by giving it the necessary time, by having those great matches, by laying those matches out very meticulously before they ever go out there and making sure, hey, everybody, this means something. That is the exact opposite of what you do when you just put the... They do a champion versus champion match on Raw not that long ago, non-title. And it was Seth Rollins versus John Cena. What position was it on the card?
It was the last thing that we saw.
It was the main event.
Yep.
They did a champion versus champion contract signing. And what slot did that get?
This week at the 10 o'clock, top of hour.
Prime slot.
Yep.
It's one of the most heavily promoted matches at SummerSlam. It's not the main event because there's something bigger. And the something bigger is motherfucking Undertaker. So it's, come on, man. You have to, if you tell me it means something, I will believe you. Brock Lesnar means something because they booked him to mean something, because they had him beat the streak, because they had him suplex John Cena 58 times and squash him to win the title in the main event of SummerSlam. They made him a big deal. It's supposed to feel like a big deal when you hear the riff and Brock Lesnar's here. So it is a big deal. That's the only reason it's a big deal. It's not because of anything he's done. None of this is legitimate. It's all bullshit. It's all just stories. So you need to make me think that it's a big deal. It's not my responsibility. That's the problem with these fans who say, well, you shouldn't be disrespecting the... It's not my responsibility to get this shit over. That's not on me. I chant for whatever the fuck I want. So they're chanting for the guy that they made a big deal and not the thing that they didn't make a big deal. It's just so stupid.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm not to blame the fans, and I even think Mick Foley's point about sort of shaming the fans, because I don't think he was blaming them. He was just putting them. He was, I don't know, maybe he was.
He said on Twitter, I'm cutting a heel promo in my mind on all these fans who are disrespecting the Divas by chanting.
It's just it's a fucking mess, because the people who sent these guys out here, which are other great point. I mean, Biden's is the fucking man. He thinks of stuff I wish I thought of. I mean, he's got it all breaking down, everything that's wrong with that match in that post. And I mean, the people who set that up, the agents, the people who decided that was the spot it got, they're going to use the fact that they got the "We Want Lesnar" chants as evidence. It's a feedback loop. They sent us shit. We responded that it was shit. And now they're going to say, see, they don't want this shit. And it just sucks. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not blaming anybody, but it sucks, because you can just imagine from our conversations with Greenfield and guys that's what's going to go on backstage. Is Kevin Dunn and Vince are back there going, see, they want Lesnar. They don't want these broads.
Yeah, they don't want these chicks. They want Lesnar. Yeah. Of course they do. Again, it's a 4-hour taping, and at that point they had been begging. They were just so ready for that, and he finally came out, and he's a huge star. But again, he's a huge star because of everything you did before this, before he finally came back home for a Raw show, and they finally get to see him at home at a Raw show, and he's a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. It's everything lined up perfectly for that. So what do you put before that?
Booed last night, which is a big fucking deal, even in Minnesota.
Well, I actually absolutely love the story that people say that's not the story they're telling, and it's just me. I don't know if you read the Raw recap.
I read your recap, and I think as usual, I'm on the fence. I think you are putting a little bit of your own stuff into it, but I think that they've told the story so that you can do that. I don't think this isn't something. This isn't something where you're like, mate, you're completely fantasy booking. It's there. It's
what's happening.
They should connect the dots a little bit better. You shouldn't have to do quite as much of it. You shouldn't have to argue that this is what they're doing. It should be clear, but
then again, in a lot of stories, it's they leave stuff like that open ended.
Yeah, I guess I don't give WWE the benefit of the doubt in terms of nuanced storytelling. I tend to think that They tell their basic stories, and then we fill in the blanks. And
yeah, it's their idea is just he's the Reaper, come to take the beast's soul. Period.
I mean, they are. I mean, I think they. I mean, they are playing him as the heel, though. I mean, you don't come. I mean, they.
Oh, he's the heel.
You don't do 2 low blows and have Heyman point out the low blow.
Right. So maybe in their mind, it's he's the heel, so he's using low blows. But in my mind, it's he's the guy he can't beat Brock. Right. He's having an identity crisis because you have to confront. Which that's just funny. His promo from earlier in the night, it's like when the Grim Reaper comes for you, there's no remorse, there's no apology, it's just over. That's just all there is to it. And it's like he might as well be talking to the mirror.
Yeah, I mean that's where I agree with you. I do kind of think that.
You know what I mean? He's trying to maintain his own sense of self, that he's the guy who delivers this punishment to everyone else. But now those roles are reversed, and he has no fucking clue how to handle this. He has no clue to confront this. It's you get older, and I mean, you're fucking close to the age. I'm sorry, man, but you know what I mean.
I was writing that piece yesterday, realizing I'm the same age as him, and going fuck.
So, at some point you have to confront your own mortality, and oh shit, have I done enough, and whatever. And and some people accept it. Many people do not.
And that's a really interesting story for the dead man to be.
It's really good. Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, when you see it through that lens, suddenly I'm fucking sitting here and going, I can't wait to see what they do at SummerSlam.
I mean, the problem, and that was one thing that they successfully did with both of the main event segments last night. I have a problem with how they sold SummerSlam on this show a lot, but as far as Cena Rollins goes and Lesnar Taker, I am much more excited about them now than I was before last night. So good job WWE on that.
Absolutely. People were mad.
Both of those.
People were mad. Oh, just another nut shot. That's stupid. Again, I really feel like the idea is he will do anything to get revenge on this dude who took the streak from him. And because again, there came the point where Undertaker's whole career, his entire career, essentially what happened was the streak became so big that he just stopped doing anything else other than the streak.
Right.
And now his entire career is defined by it. His whole career. He had a huge, long, successful career before the streak was anything. But now his career is defined by the WrestleMania streak. And here's a guy who came in and just beat the shit out of him, concussed him, damn near killed him, and took it away. And now what? What are you now? And like I said, the Bray Wyatt tie-in was absolutely me trying to find something.
I think that's the big hole in this plot is why did he wait 18 months and what is going over Bray with
just feel like
relative ease.
Take the story I gave you, WWE. Take it. Like it's right there. Like I need, again, you lose and you have to go home and look in the mirror. And like we said, he lost, and we looked at him and thought, dude, you're old, you're beat.
You're done. Yeah.
You can't do this anymore. Stop. You need to stop. You can't take a back body drop without your fucking brain rattling around in your skull, and you don't even remember who you are anymore. So are you selling the effects of the loss in the ring, or are you don't even know where you are, which was a legitimate question after that match. So if we see that, you imagine if you're that person and you're looking in the mirror, and that's something all of us have to do. We have to square away with ourselves. We have to be happy with what we see. So he sees a broken, beaten old man who cannot hang with the best of the best today, which has never been the case. And the streak was always that. You send your best, and I'll put them away. It wasn't
always that, but it became that. That's their legend.
It became that during the defining.
Gonzalez and Mark Henry
This is true, but it became the defining during the defining era that made that become the thing that is his entire identity, the best ever.
Yep.
I mean, Shawn twice in a row, Triple H, Punk. And then a lot of the title matches were in there, Batista, Edge, everybody, and he's putting all of them down. Well, here's Brock, a guy who he's never beat. He could never beat Brock, and he loses, and it's who am I? Who are you now? What is it that you can, what do you do now? So you come back and you go, so you look in the mirror and you either accept what you see and you just live with it. You find a way to push on and figure things out from there, or you don't accept it. And not accepting it means having to go through the entire process of coming back and proving it wrong. That's the only way. That's the only route you can take when you don't accept what you see, which is, the identity crisis. The older man goes and buys the Ferrari, and he goes and fucks a 19-year-old, and he goes into, I am still every bit as virile and amazing and great as I was when I was that age, but you're not that age. And at some point you have to accept that. So I feel like they should just tell the story that he came back to beat a lesser man in Bray, which is also interesting that he went after, or that Bray was the guy that he went to because he is a lesser man, because he is not the best, because he's not the guy that you would think he would want to come back to beat. But it was, I need to win at WrestleMania again. And then he won fairly easily, and that's restores some semblance of balance to, like I said, what must be a delicate psyche when you have your identity just completely stripped away.
See, now what could have been a really cool story there, because Bray's the one that asks for that feud. You could have Bray cut a promo where that's what he was doing, was resurrecting the dead man for this, and then Bray's elevated too, but we don't care about that. So
yeah, that would require far too much nuance to try to explain to Vince McMahon and have him understand what you're talking about.
And caring about anybody other than 5 guys on his roster, 2 of which only show up 4 times a year.
Yeah. Wait, what does this mean for John Cena?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the question after you pitch anything. So yeah, no, and then it's okay. Well, then again, Heyman keeps talking about it. He said it looks so bitter, but then when you tell this story, that's not bitter. That's, again, like I said in the article, it's not a scar yet. It's a scab, and every time Heyman fucking brings it up, he's ripping the scab off and exposing all this and his whole body is scabbed from this because Lesnar just destroyed him. So it's just exposing the broken flesh to the open air. And again, making him confront that he's been beaten, that he's broken, that he's not who he was, that he does not have the identity he thought he had, and making him look in the mirror and, are you ready to accept this yet? And he's not. So he had to come back. And when he came back, the nut shot was the very clear indication. And we get so caught up on, is he a heel? Is he a babyface? Fucking stop that. Stop doing that. Stop caring so much about character alignment within a story. Find the story. And once you do that, you go, what it really is, or what it seems to be, is that he has to win. Because if he doesn't win, then he has to actually accept what he sees when he looks in the mirror, the beaten, broken old man. So he has to win, so he's so desperate. And desperation is a stinky cologne, man. It will turn good people bad. So he's kicking this dude in the nuts, just going as low as you can go, literally, to do whatever it takes to win. And he's done it twice now. They had the brawl, and no one got the better of it. So the next time he met him, first thing he did was hit him in the nuts. I will do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and after after trying to fake him out with the fake gong. I mean, that's what they pull. I mean, he was pulling out all the stops, and Heyman's job is to make fun of him for him.
Yeah, I will do whatever it takes to win this match because I have to win. Because not winning is equal to death at this point. It's just, that's it. You have to then accept that you're done, and it's time to retire, and we should see him again. So if he loses, that should be. So I feel like he won't lose because of that, because they need to bring him back for WrestleMania. Well, I don't think it would matter because people are probably right. They're probably not telling the story as I like to think of it. But at the very least, I'm fascinated to see what they do because they have to go one way or another, win or loss.
I mean, if they were telling your story, I could see them having him lose by DQ, getting so frustrated that he ends up hitting a low blow in the match.
And then, perfect. And then
that sets up Mania.
Hell in a Cell. No DQ. Everything goes. Let's just lay it all out there. Fucking me versus you, and you can do whatever you want to me, and I can do whatever I want to you, and whoever's the best, whoever's the better, will come out on top. And for all the people who say Undertaker should win that match, no, you don't win. That's like saying that would give him his identity back. That cannot be the end game. The end game here is that he has to accept that he can't do it anymore. Just like Shawn, just like he made Shawn Michaels accept that Shawn Michaels says you're the greatest of all time, but it doesn't matter. You cannot win.
Yep, and you
cannot win.
And I honestly believe. I mean, I don't think Taker's going to go out on his back. Everything that we know about this guy says that he cares about the business.
He gave up the streak. He'll lose on his way out. That's how it has to be.
And Lesnar, I mean, as much as I don't think he was the right, as much as I argue that he wasn't the right guy 2 years ago, at this point, there's no other star that the story makes sense for. So
no, there's not. Brock's the guy. And looking back, man, it almost sucks that we were so against it because, God, the story has stretched from fucking 2002, man, or 2003. It's such a really good story that they've told spanning all of this. And Martin, Big Pale.
Yeah.
same thing at WrestleMania. And then he told that he wrote the article telling the story, and it was like, wow, actually, when you look at it like that, it's really good. So it's find the story that they're telling, even if they're not intentionally doing that. And that's what this is. And again, you can't have Undertaker win. He has to lose. And I like that. DQ or some sort of schmaz where he's willing to do anything and he gets disqualified for it. And that's a good story. And then it sets up WrestleMania, and then they do the thing and whatever. And what happens, what should happen is he'll lose. And after he loses, he gets up. He realizes what it is, and in fact, he's been set free. He no longer is burdened by this because that would have never ended. The streak and all this stuff, it would have never ended. He had no way to, it became what he was, but how do you get out from underneath that? You have to lose at some point, right? Because otherwise he just keeps coming back to defend it. You get old, right? Your body breaks down. So Brock was actually, in that way, that monster was a blessing. We're all confronted with demons in our lives. We're all confronted with things that seem to be the worst possible thing in the moment, but ultimately it was a good thing. So he stands up, he shakes Brock's hand. Brock set him free. He can be done now. He can retire and he can go home and he can be happy with what he sees in the mirror because the streak was still a hugely important thing. The streak was still a historic, unbelievable thing that no one will ever match, and it's still. But now he can look back on that and be satisfied with it. Now he can be satisfied with himself and how everything's played out. That's a great fucking story.
Yeah, I still wish WWE would do a better job of telling it instead of relying on us to tell it. But it is there.
Take it. You can have it.
I think the problems are people in the comments. Keith and Videns are pointing out in the comments. One, they're probably not going to go to a schmaz finish in both main events, and do we think we're going to get a clean finish in Cena Rollins?
I doubt it. Now that he brought up Triple H the way he did, there's no fucking way they're doing a clean finish.
And then and Keith's saying, maybe Taker doesn't retire this year, which I kind of think he does. I don't know. I think this is his last run. I think that's why he came
100,000.
Yeah, and that's why he came back to do non-WrestleMania stuff because it's his last go.
He's got to be setting up for WrestleMania with the SummerSlam.
That's what I think. I don't know. You can't rule it out. If he feels like he can go, nobody's going to tell him no.
He always said he's always felt like he'd be letting Vince down if he didn't come back.
Yep.
So at some point, dude, how old is he now? 50?
He's pushing it. I don't know. Let me look it up while we're talking.
He's not young. I just feel like that's such a good story to really to put together.
He'll be 51 at Mania 32.
And he's a big man, and it's it's not, you just can't keep doing it. And
mileage on him, yeah.
If that's the case and he doesn't retire, I don't see how this story ends. None of it is satisfying in that case. None of it.
Honestly, I don't. I guess they can fix it, but I don't know how the story's satisfying if he wins clean on Sunday.
Well, because I don't know. Then I guess he believes that he's got all of that back, that he's he can now live with the loss at WrestleMania because he came back and
because this match is too big for WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. It's so big. It's too big for a 100,000 seat stadium. We need it in a 13,000 seat arena.
We got to do it inside.
Yeah, we're not Dallas. We're going to Brooklyn. Shut up. Maybe that so they can say he's content with that, and then Brock would want to do the Mania match, but then they'd have to. I don't know how they do that. Please don't do that because the story's so good like this. I'm like invested in my own fucking mind now of what I'm trying to tell, and if just do enough to let me keep that in my head so I can feel good about this. You're never going to get this chance again.
Like I said, we're debating it, whereas I think before last night we maybe weren't. So that's good on them.
So you're welcome. I'm my recaps. We just completely moved from the Divas to the main event.
I know. You were
notice how we did exactly what they did. Why did we do that, Sean? Because we know what's important because they fucking tell us what's important.
Yep.
It's so bad. I'm still so upset about it, man. I can't fucking believe that they would do that and think.
I can't believe. Here's what I can't. I can't believe that they tricked us into thinking it was going to be different again. We are like you've used this analogy before. We are abused spouses. I know this is way over the top, not really, but
Yeah, well, that's not seeking to downplay.
No.
Actually,
this is
abusive
the most trivial
relationships.
version of that possible. But just as an analogy, as wrestling fans, they're the biggest game in town, and we're so desperate for little tastes of something different and what we want, that when they give it to us, we freak out and we buy in, and then we act shocked again when it doesn't work out.
I always like to say I'm in an abusive relationship with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Every year they bring in a free agent, or they hire a new coach, or they bring in Vic Fangio, and then I think, oh, great defensive coordinator, we're going to run with 3-4. Oh, this is going to be fucking awesome. We've actually got some hope. Thank you so much. We can be happy in the end. And then the first preseason game, my fucking Miami Dolphins drive fucking 8 minutes off the clock, score a touchdown on 4th and 2 from the 2-yard line. Jared Allen looks completely fucking lost. Our safeties are garbage. They can't get any fucking pressure on Ryan. I have toes for thumbs Tannehill, and just get wiped off the field on their own home turf. So it's, oh, okay, I'm miserable again. So yeah, we are in an abusive relationship with WWE in the exact same way, where they just do this. It's going to be new, and it's going to be, you wait, we're going to bring up all these NXT girls, and everything's going to be fucking, fine and dandy, and everyone's going to be happy, and they're going to get more time to work matches, and you guys should just shut the fuck up now.
And here's the thing. Here's the biggest FU about what they did last night. They did absolutely nothing to sell their match at SummerSlam. There was no stare down between the three teams. There was no stakes put on the line. It is a completely context-free match on Sunday. It is no stakes. Show. It's just an exhibition. There's nothing on the line. Yep.
Again, the NXT Women's title means something because it's just always implied that people have sacrificed their lives for this. This belt doesn't mean a fucking thing unless you give it meaning, and the way you give it meaning is to have, it's I hate to make a men's thing, but the Sami Zayn thing. It's that his title chase was so fucking rewarding because everything about him was like, I will die to win that title. I don't care about anything. I will literally, you will have to kill me because I'm not going to stop until I get wrestling
if I can't win this.
Yes, this is everything to me, which means suddenly now that title still doesn't mean anything in the general it's fake sense, but within the world that we occupy, that we want to occupy, suddenly there's nothing more important than that. He will do anything to get that. That's what they do with the women's title in NXT. And granted, they could do a little bit better with it, whatever.
Well, I think they've hot-shotted it because of the mass call-up, but they are trying to tell that version of the story. And they cut promos and they talk about the title. When is the last time you fucking, this Team PCB bullshit where all they do is say woo and pinky swear? Fuck that. No wonder nobody gives.
Dude, they're cringe for that. I love
mention the title. They never mention why they're here. They're just going to change things and pinky swear and use Charlotte's dad's catchphrases.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
And Nikki's out here going 265 days as Divas champion. So good, dude. You tapped clean to Sasha. You tapped to Charlotte. You've lost multiple times in these non-title matches and these tag matches, and but the title was just never on the line. It hasn't been on the line for months. Since what? Beast in the East? In July. In early, July 4th.
In a triple threat, there was basically a house show match.
Yeah, which was a house show that they just happened to televise. So that's a bit barely fucking counts. And I think I read somewhere that the last time she won a singles match on Raw, title or not, was June 8th. You shitting me? You fucking kidding me? So we've got all the, and like you said, Team PCB. Okay, stupidest fucking name ever. Just whoever come up with that, you're the dumbest ass.
Well, they're smarter than the one that came up with sorority submission or whatever.
Submission sorority, yeah. I just name the Divas division bangbros.com.
Yep.
Fucking
sponsorship. They can wear like a Jimmy John's on their gear.
Yeah, or Brazzers. They're always trying to break into wrestling.
Yep.
You're right, Becky. I love Becky Lynch so much.
I do too, man. She's phenomenal.
So wonderful. And the match, she got a good match out of Tamina.
Which is saying something.
Tapped her with the disarmer. She's got a really cool finish. She's got a cool name. It looks good. She's a good wrestler. I noticed, and I hope this doesn't sound bad. She's kind of pudgy, and it scares me. She's not like cut up. Like you look at AJ Lee. AJ's fucking shredded.
Right. She's not pudgy, but she's not Charlotte, which is going to be a problem for Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon.
Yes, she's got her body is not the same as Charlotte's genetically superior. And you look at Becky, and I noticed her gear was kind of covering her stomach. And I was like, I wonder if that was deliberate.
People bring up about Bayley too, that she's not. She wears the full body. Yeah,
Bayley's she's pretty cut up too.
Well, Bailey's thick is what Bailey is. That's one of the things I like about Bailey. But that's
the look. Hang on. The look you got on your face when you started talking about that is the creepiest fucking shit. Okay, we just set up a talk with a feminist to talk about feminism in wrestling yesterday.
I'm allowed to appreciate women's bodies and still be a feminist ally.
And now here we are.
Those things are not mutually exclusive.
True. I can't wait for her to school us, man, because I don't identify as a feminist anymore because I just don't know enough.
Well, that's not to give that. Yeah, I have a problem with men saying that the last thing that women need is the fucking patriarchy to take over their movement.
Yeah, I feel like it's an attempt to take away.
Yeah, it's like, let us come in and run this right, ladies.
I am a feminist, and it's like, yeah, I think it's better to be like, I'm on your side. Like, I want to be, or I think it's better to be like, I want to be on your side. So instead of like, I'm the feminist, I should try to be more like, okay, you're the feminist and I'm on your side, so I'll just get behind you. Exactly. And you say what needs to be the thing that needs to be said. And
that's like when we were talking about the Hogan thing. I've worked in Baltimore City for going on 10 plus years, mostly with African-American communities and like nonprofit roles. And that's what I've learned is it's my job as a white dude to shut up and ask what I can do to help. Not tell anybody what they should do. I'm guilty of. I stepped in and tried to do that. I was going to fix it for people. And I learned the hard way that doesn't help anybody. So
yeah,
we'll talk about that next week, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm in first place, and it came about. Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. But it came about from saying, that some places in pro wrestling are really good with handling feminist issues and stuff, and they brought us up, and I got like nervous when I was like, I don't want this responsibility. Almost like I'm so scared of it because it's like, no, because I don't want it to be like, okay, Side's a good feminist voice. And it's like, we're two fucking white dudes who run this, man. Like, we're not the people.
You're just worried that they're going to dig through the Cageside Live archives and find all the horrible shit I've said and then throw it.
No, I'm going to call you out, and I want you to call me out, and I want both of us to sit here when Kara comes on. Her name's Kara. I want both of us to sit here, and we're going to cop to the fact that we don't fucking have a clue because we're just two white dudes who just don't know better. But we want to be as good as we can possibly be, and that's part of why we're going to bring her on to talk about it. All right, so speaking of that,
next week, everybody, tune in.
Next week, next Thursday. It's a good segue into hustle, loyalty, and I'm going to make you my bitch.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that, Sean? I actually thought it was a good promo.
I really liked it. He swooped me up. That was the good John Cena. But I'm so fucking tired of the bitch thing that I can't. I mean it didn't ruin the promo for me.
What's your problem with it?
It's lazy, man. I mean, I'm not even from like a feminist standpoint. It's just like that's the curse word they're allowed to use, so they say it all the time. It's just I don't feel it doesn't add anything. I don't know. I mean, I guess it was a good drop the mic
schoolyard taunt.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess that's basically what this is. So
that's a great line for a 13-year-old.
You can't argue.
Triple H was never Ric Flair's bitch. But on Sunday, I'm gonna make you mine, and then he signs the contract. I mean, there's the adolescent in me that loves
which is what this is,
shit.
Right? Yeah,
yeah. The adolescent in me that loved the Rock shit. That was dope.
Yeah,
like damn, bro, he fucking just owned. And Rollins just stood there looking at him like, what do I even say to this?
I mean, this is my problem too. I mean, it was a phenomenal promo. I really did. I thought it was one of the best ones he's given in a long time, and it completely sold me on the match where I was on the fence before. But man, he made Rollins look like a chump.
Awful. And it's the same and to come out and go, dude, you're spitting the same bullshit. Like the Rock spit the shit, I beat the Rock for the title in the main event of Mania.
It's the same. I said this on Twitter. It's the same promo that every Cena opponent has given since the pipe bomb. I don't hate you, John, but I'm tired of it. And blah blah.
You're a disease and I'm the cure.
A little spin, but it's the same fucking speech.
Yeah, you're a disease and I'm the cure. And it's kind of meta for Cena to be like, oh, you're original, and then do the bitch thing.
Yeah.
To do the same.
Yeah.
He's just, and everything WWE is so formulaic, and Cena is the same way because he's a goofy fucking idiot for weeks, and then he just breaks out with his serious promo, and then because we know he's good. He's really good at it. So when he does do that, we can't help but acknowledge that he's really good at it. And then you go, wow, this was awesome. Fantastic. Where's this Cena more often? And maybe that's why we don't see that.
One of the things that I loved about it is usually when we get serious Cena, we get like the Southern preacher voice, or we get the Southie accent from Boston. This wasn't. He just had fire, and he just went. It kind of looked like it's probably my favorite Cena one since the lead up to Once in a Lifetime, where he like blasted Rock for having his notes on his sleeve. I mean, because he just looked pissed off.
Someone told me, anyone listening to this, can you go back to that video? Someone told me he had notes written on his hat.
Last night?
Yeah.
I was wondering that, but I think he was looking at the 15 times on his thing, because he did the thing where he said, I designed this gear a month ago when I didn't think I'd ever have this chance.
Right.
So I think that's because I had that thought originally too. I'm like, is he reading notes? But I think he was just because that he ended up tying it in, and that's where 15 times is on the hat, is on the back.
Well, shit, we've since the Rock notes fucking thing, we've seen the WWE scripts that they give out. I'd fucking write notes too.
Exactly. I would go out there with a piece of paper.
Yeah, they ought to send Reigns out with notes to make it that. Oh, come at me, Reigns fans. What?
Yep, Tanya's going to be pissed.
No, Tanya's so mad. She's going to stop doing SmackDown recaps, and I'm going to.
That'd be the worst thing for you.
I'm going to make you do it. So, yeah, we're excited. We're not excited about the women because, you know, and, oh, man, last thing on that point. Stop blaming the fans for chanting "We want Lesnar." It's not their fault that they, again, if you're a fan who goes to a show, go into business for yourself and just start being a dick to be a dick, fine. But I don't think that's what that was. This is people in Minneapolis who've been waiting for 4 hours to see their guy. They're being presented a match that's just the psychology of it, the way it's laid out, as Viden's pointed out in that post, is they're switching mid-match, and it's like, dude, fuck you. I can't get into this. I don't even know who I'm supposed to cheer. Like, you're flipping everything around. Who the fuck's the babyface in this? I don't even know at this point. The Bellas switch back and forth every 10 minutes. So it's, again, you've given them no reason. You've given them every reason not to care. Mm-hmm. Every single reason. So at that point, and they haven't seen their guy, it's the worst thing in the world, and they're being disrespectful pieces of shit because they're chanting "We want Lesnar." This is one time, and I'm normally on board the fuck the fans who chant bullshit. This is the one time I feel like it's acceptable.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the San Jose crowd from post Raw. It wasn't. There was nothing inappropriate about what they were chanting. If it were me, I probably would have sat on my hands. But that's just me. I'm not saying you're wrong for not doing that. Like I said, it just sucks. It's a fucked up situation because these women who are, you know, this is their dream. I mean, Becky's been traveling since she was 16. Sasha's been a fan since she was a child. I mean, it's their fucking dream, and everything about it, almost everything about it, is set up for them to fail. And
I'm already turning on the Sasha stuff, as far as I'm starting to see a lot more of what you're seeing. So it's like, you know, it's one of those things. And someone on Twitter last night's yelling at me and going, "Well, what, you think they should go on after Brock?" No, they should just not put him on before Brock.
Right.
You don't have this big, huge attraction, and people are like, well, it's a cool-down spot, or they don't have, and then, so you have the people saying it's a cool-down spot, and the people arguing there's no such thing, or that they can run pay-per-view shows, and they can have back-to-back big matches, or like a co-main event, and then the main event, and they don't need anything in between. Okay, yeah, that's fine. This is not what that is. This is not a pay-per-view. We're not building to the big match, and then this is not a co-main event. It's just, let's send these people out, again, in a spot where the crowd was going to be that way no matter who was out there. Right. Doesn't matter who they put there. They wanted Brock. At that point, didn't matter. And then again, you give them the match where you fuck with the way it's laid out, and all of those things come together to just create this awful situation where, again, you didn't promote it's champion versus champion. Fucking Sasha's got a title match at TakeOver to promote, and she didn't even have her title with her. What the fuck's the matter with you? Like, what?
She hasn't carried that title on Raw. I mean, and the NXT men's title was integral to all of Kevin Owens stuff when he had it. That was part of the story. Yes. And ever since they showed up on Raw, the NXT women's title has been irrelevant. She's had it in a couple of promos. She never carries it to the ring. She doesn't mention it. There's no, I mean, you can't look at the way they've been booked and presented and say that there isn't an ulterior motive at play. There's no way.
I don't know. It's like someone said, is it sabotage? Is it intentional to try to bury them? I don't know about that. It could just be incompetence. Could just be that they just don't, that they didn't actually put that much thought into it. But if that's the case, I don't like to think that because we know they know better. Mm-hmm. We know they know better.
Yeah.
we know. If we know, they know. These are people who've put on wildly successful 1.3 million buy events. They know what the fuck they're doing. To act like they don't is insulting to us for buying into the shit then. You know what I mean? If they don't know what they're doing more than you and I know what we're doing, then come on. What does that really say about what it is we're doing here? So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's like I said, it's just a fucked up situation.
And yeah, you can't make something important unless you. So what do you put it on in the main event? Well, again, yeah. Do you want this to be a Divas Revolution, or do you want these people to be people who come on and they do their shit before the real main eventers come out? What is it? What's your goal? At least
tell the story. I mean, we talk about this all the fucking time. It's the we make movies. No, you don't, because in a movie, if two champions faced off, it wouldn't be like it wouldn't be at like 40 minutes into it, in between some other important shit that happened.
Yeah, you would. You know what they don't do for the Super Bowl? They don't play it on a fucking Tuesday. And they never would, because that's fucking stupid. They put it on Sunday in the exact prime hour it can be, and they promote the ever-loving fuck out of it. Yeah. In fact, they move everything around just to make it as big as it can possibly be. They don't, they don't play it on a Tuesday and then act like it's the biggest deal imaginable, because everyone in the media would rightfully lambast them for trying to do so, which is what we're doing here. We're not. Don't blame the fans. Right. Don't blame. Right. Yeah, let's not act like it's a Sasha problem.
Super Bowl, like they know when they get the NFL schedule that if they've got Steelers Ravens, they don't fucking put that on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. That gets a primetime slot somewhere. Yeah, and so this doesn't have to be the Super Bowl, but treat it like a fucking rivalry game.
Yes,
treat it like something that could make you money, because it could, you assholes, and you kind of know that, or you wouldn't be courting Ronda Rousey.
Yes.
So
you put the big stuff in the prime slots. They look at the schedule and all the best games go in the national game at 4 p.m. Eastern, and then you said the Sunday night game, the Monday night game. The Sunday night game more than the Monday night game. The Thursday games don't count because they have to put everybody on there. But yeah, it's find the best game, give it the best slot. Yep. So again, if you want this to be the best or perceived as the best, you have to give it that slot at some point. And for you to, okay, fine, if you don't want to do that yet, that's fine. But don't give us, the fucking Seahawks versus the Packers in, you know what I mean? Don't put that. That's putting that game, a Super Bowl, or let's say
that's like making that a non-televised Sunday at 1 game or something. You know, I mean, it's not.
You don't even put it on TV. It's like you would never do that. That's a huge fucking deal, and you need to make it a huge deal. So it's champion versus champion. That should have been such a big match, and they've already given it away, and it was already not
no build with the
Steve Austin quit a company over booking like this.
Yep.
It's so bad. I just don't understand the idea. Unless the idea is self-sabotage, in which case, then I do understand that.
And they've established that the butterfly belt means shit. Unless the end game of this storyline is that thing ends up in the trash and is replaced with a reincarnated women's title, there's no way this makes sense, because they've told us that this is the best woman to ever hold this belt, and she can't beat anybody.
Yes. And she can't beat the woman holding the belt in our developmental league.
But we don't tell anybody that she has that belt.
But we're never going to tell you that. Yeah, we're not going to. She's got the title. She's got the title on the Raw Fallout.
I mean, I thought they were going to use this show partially to promote Takeover a little bit, like they've done in the past. They didn't even really mention it.
It's just that's why the show was a piece of shit.
I mean,
when you think about all these,
and that's
the whole show wasn't a piece of shit, but that part of it is just god awful.
I mean, that's the other thing that I alluded to earlier, and I'll rant about for a little bit now since we still got time, is they gave away so many of Sunday's matches on this card. They just gave us
everything.
The Fatal 4-Way for the tag titles. But
they
sales pitch is like, if you like this, tune in on Sunday when it might matter more.
Yeah, I liked that. I put that in the recap too. I stole that from you.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then Cesaro and Orton against Sheamus and Owens, and it's just, there'll be single matches on the show. It's like, why are you?
And they did they did Ambrose and Harper, or Reigns and Harper, but it'll be a tag match on Sunday. But
and all Bray did was sit in a chair. Yep. I'm enthralled.
Well, it really sells the heat between the competitors, right? When they can sit next to each other and not do anything.
Yeah, and Dean can just look at him and say, "I don't trust him when he's
quiet." The crazy guy and the cult leader can just sit there and not bother each other.
Yeah, just hang out, and Dean's doing his best to. We're brothers, brotherhood. Hint, hint, wink,
wink.
We're
getting a turn from somebody on Sunday?
I think at this point, if they don't do a turn, that'll be a swerve.
True.
because he's pushed it so hard on commentary that it's like, I don't know that he joins the Wyatt family. I don't know that it would go that way, but if Dean doesn't turn on Roman, I don't know. And I
wish they'd turn Roman, but I think
they think that they can turn Dean because he's just been beaten to death as a babyface. So I think they can turn him to freshen him up. And if they turn him on Roman, that will then give Reigns so much more babyface support because his boy turned on him.
I guess.
I think they think that. I don't think that's how it'll play out, especially in Brooklyn. They fuck around, turn Dean in Brooklyn, they'll cheer him. And they'll boo Reigns, and it'll look like – I hope they don't do it now because it'll look like it wasn't a turn, even though it was. Well,
see, Brooklyn is the exact right place to turn Reigns.
Yes,
that's
it is.
The thing. And make Ambrose such a mega over babyface, but they're not going to do that.
They would boo Reigns with smiles on their faces.
Yeah, they would love. Yeah,
It'd be giddy as fuck.
Yep, it would be epic, but they won't do it.
It will not happen. What else happened on Raw?
How about that flag, though?
How about that flag, though? How about that pop for Dolph?
I know, man. This
Dolph Ziggler looking like Hulk Hogan.
Oh, got a huge pop too.
Yeah.
This crowd.
Actually, wait a minute. I'm outraged. Not just about those divas. You saw it. Dolph Ziggler tried to super kick Summer. He tried to super kick Hot Summer. I know you saw it. Do not deny it. He tried to do it.
It's right out of the Young Bucks school. He's with
it. I cannot believe he tried. And everyone was okay with it. And then Lana kicks her. What's this about? I don't understand it. Everyone's just cool with Hot Summer almost getting super kicked by Dolph Ziggler. It's despicable. You fans are just – that's why you should cut heel promos on the fans, Mick Foley. Not because they're chanting for Lesnar during a shitty Divas match, but because Dolph Ziggler tried to super kick Hot Summer and nobody cares. Yeah, that's right. She's Hot Summer now.
She is. I call her Hot Summer now. You've convinced me. I even quit saying Ray Ray.
How good is that? I still love Ruru and Ray Ray, and she retweeted me and didn't get the chance to use that on TV yet. I hope it happens still. But Hot Summer's great.
She didn't get a chance to talk last night at all, did she? That was the latest Mark Henry squash. And
I actually like the Henry thing because he's turned into Swagger Part 2.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The two. I want the two of them to be a tag team now.
Never give up.
I want them to be. I want scenes of them sitting around backstage trying to draw up plans to beat Rusev.
Yeah. You want to talk about Cornette being pissed off about the Young Bucks selling for an 8-year-old? I'm pissed off for Rusev selling for fucking Dolph Ziggler's orange ass.
Yeah.
Well, he was like 9 different colors last night, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What have you been doing, Dolph?
He's got the Hulkamania disease.
His shoulders look like Hulk Hogan and his midsection look like Paige. What's the matter with this guy?
He might have caught a disease from that atrocious fucking vest he likes to wear. God.
He looks so...
What the hell does DZ Crew in hot pink suppose? I don't understand how you cheer him at this point, but God, people love to. So
he's straight out of California in the '80s, man. I don't even. That's a lie. Yeah. I wasn't even alive in the '80s.
I don't know what that means either. Let's see what else happened. The New Day's awesome. But they don't have that. That is talk about the Divas not having a story. Good God, that tag division is a fucking mess. And that's another one. Like 2 months ago, people were like, the tag division's coming back. No, it's never coming back.
Ever.
Ever coming back.
Yeah, essentially, it's they don't care because they just throw everyone in all at once.
And the Matadors are getting the Nikki Bella heel face turn. I mean, who gives a shit? God damn it. That's a mess. I don't. Cesaro Owens, that should be a good match. That means nothing.
And a bad botch on the ropes.
Yeah, that was not.
Cesaro just has no idea what to. But no, it's kind of interesting to see how Cesaro looks and how the whole landscape of it looks with WWE actually backing his push.
Yeah.
As a babyface and not trying to turn him and give him managers talking about another guy at all times. So the Cesaro section thing is something WWE should co-opt, put it on a T-shirt, pass those fucking signs out themselves this time instead of fans doing it.
Yeah, and he's got. I mean, being Tyson's best friend is the best gimmick he's come up with. So
yeah,
God love. I mean, how do you boo that guy when he's wearing the Tyson Kidd armband?
Someone had a Fat Owens Fat sign that Kevin Dunn kept telling him to focus on, and it would be Kevin Dunn because he's the production guy.
Yeah, he's the director guy.
He's the one directing the cameras, and we know this. So if the cameras were pointed at those, that would be Kevin Dunn. And I'm not just it's all Kevin Dunn's fault. Everything's Kevin Dunn's fault. I'm not saying that, but
Yeah. So is Big Show a babyface now again? Did that happen? Just because he's in a movie, he's sort of a tweener now or something?
I'm not entirely sure. He wasn't acting like a heel.
Yeah, no, and
They put him on commentary, and he just kind of was all right. Well,
And yeah, Miz continues to be like one of the most entertaining things about the show, and they just had
and one of the least pushed.
Yeah, and just had him get destroyed by Feed Me More.
Just jab the guy out. Ryback's terrible.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's.
I don't get.
Thank you. Finally.
I don't get the appeal anymore. I mean, well, at babyface, I think heel Ryback on Twitter.
Yeah, I agree.
Loose cannon Ryback was really fun.
Yeah,
Ryback
was fun.
He's on main event commentary asking Lillian Garcia why the long face. I just that's a terrible thing to say, but he's a heel, so it's like I laughed about it.
Oh shit, yeah.
He's a loose cannon, man.
So yeah,
that was it. I think that was literally it. Stephanie came back, and Stephanie is everything that there is about life. That's good in the world.
Well, speaking of fucking, and here's I don't know if we even have
time to get into this. Here we go. Now it's a party.
Well, now it is a party. Well, at one point I wasn't sure if Hunter and Steph weren't just going to get down to it in the ring. They were.
Dude,
they were PDA and all over the place.
I got to text
fangirling for Hunter.
I know that look she got, and that little giggle. I was like, oh man, I fell in love.
Are they heels now? What are they? They're sort of.
Okay. Here's what I'll say again. I think we have a very real problem, and I fall into this trap too. Of again, like with the Undertaker Lesnar thing, look for the story. Don't look for the character.
Where I disagree with you though is because because you criticize the Divas for not having an alignment and that being a problem. Right. WWE has educated us that that's the way they tell their stories. So when they don't do that, yes, we can sometimes connect the dots and fix it, but it's confusing. This is not. If they were better at more nuanced storytelling, I agree. There is a way to tell pro wrestling stories without strict alignments, but that's not the WWE style. So it gets fucked up when they don't do it.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess it's
Hunter and Stephanie are baby faces in the opening segment, and then we're supposed to believe that Hunter's kind of a heel in the Cena segment because he's most of his promo is directed against Triple H. I don't know. Are they setting up a Cena Triple H match later? That's what it sounded like.
No, it just seemed more like they're setting up to give Triple H a reason to interfere in the match because he doesn't want to break. He doesn't want Cena to break the record like he never did. And it's Flair's record, Evolution, and all the ties that they have with that. So I just felt like that was
somehow also got to get to Triple H Rock, right? If that's what we're.
I felt like that was a way to set up for Triple H to interfere in that. But you're right. I guess where the hell does The Rock come in then? Because he'll be there that's the rumor. And then if he is there, it's probably to set up. To set up for the match with Triple H at WrestleMania.
He stop Cena's interference? Rock? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know why. I don't.
Triple H's interference.
If it's me, I'm putting the damn belt on Cena. So I don't.
I would too. After that promo last night.
Not even after that promo. The Rollins title reign has been garbage. Yeah. The ratings are terrible, and everyone at this point saying, "Don't put it back on Cena. That's not what's best for business." Literally every metric of business disagrees with you.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I'm sorry.
In a long-term sense, I agree. It's not best for business. You should have built up somebody else at this point, but they haven't. So.
And they fucked up with Rollins, and he can come back from it. Turn him babyface.
Well, that's what I think. Eventually, he's got to feud with Triple H and go over. I hope.
You'd think, but I don't know that that's happening anytime soon. Especially if Triple H is going to do.
Does Jon Stewart interfere? We didn't even talk about that.
Oh shit, Jon Stewart! Boy, the reaction to that. I don't know if you saw on our Twitter. There was like people who were like ready to die with glee, and then another side who was like, "Why do I even watch this shit? This is so dumb."
Yeah.
It's like,
it's a huge get for them. I mean, to say that this is his first gig after
they're pushing that hard.
Yeah.
Hey, what is he doing post Daily Show?
SummerSlam, baby. I mean, it is. It's there. I mean, I think that's why me and a lot of other people get excited because it like validates our. We think we're smart people who are still wrestling fans. We're not, mouth breathers or whatever the stereotype is. And so Stewart validates that for us, and it validates it for WWE. I think that's why people get so fucking excited. That's why I marked out at first, and then I was like, well, it's probably going to suck because when's the last time a guest host really killed it? I mean, The Rock wasn't even really good in the role at Mania, so.
Hosts of it's stupid. It's just a
backstage. Dumb idea. The show doesn't need a host, right?
It guarantees a bad backstage comedy segment or two, but. I mean, with Stewart, you'd think it wouldn't necessarily be bad, but I don't know. It's just sad.
He could be there to play. I mean, they've been playing up the Rollins feud still. I mean, they still do that on the website. that's their little history of Jon Stewart's involvement in WWE is all Seth Rollins.
Sure.
So that's a possibility. I don't know. I guess we could talk about this stuff Thursday Thursday we're going to do G1, and Geno's going to sit there quietly because he doesn't have time to watch good wrestling. And we're also going to preview the weekend shows on Thursday. Cageside Live.
We're going to be joined by special guest Mike Fagan of Untethered MMA.
Replacing Matt Roth because...
Yeah, we're done with Roth. Because he doesn't know how to keep his fucking headphones in. And kills us with a ridiculous, just too much feedback. I don't need to hear myself twice.
Right. Then we can't rant if he doesn't plug his headphones in. So he is in timeout.
You know what's sad? That we have to we have to be happy with Stewart at SummerSlam because he validates our choices. Yeah, he's a famous ally.
People mark out all the time for that kind of stuff. I mean, that sucks. Yeah, I mean that's the pop culture ghetto that wrestling is in. We get so fucking excited when somebody with any respectability actually likes it.
You know what's funny? I'm just sitting here thinking of this and go, why are you a wrestling fan? And we'll get off here in a minute. He said, why are you a wrestling fan? And it's like, because I've always been. That's literally all I could think of. Because I've just always been a fan.
Yeah.
Would you watch if you didn't cover it?
I don't know. I mean, we were talking to Dave Walsh about this on Twitter last night. I don't know. I mean, I used to take
trying to turn you.
I know, the dark side.
Asshole.
I don't need to work anymore. His pitch was go work somewhere else do more work by yourself. That doesn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I always used to take little breaks, at least to tune out for a while and just read recaps and not watch shows. And this job keeps me from doing that. So
when they came to me to run the site, they said, "Do you want Cageside? You'll have your own staff. You'd be in charge. You'd be the man." And I hadn't watched wrestling in years, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I mean, of course I accepted the gig because it meant money, more money, and power and influence. Yeah, right. Cageside was nothing.
I was going to go along with you. I was going to keep kayfabe on that. Oh yeah.
Cageside was nothing at the time, but we're apparently kind of a big deal now. So I don't know.
It's like, hey, that's like SB Nation, like ESPN is realizing there's money in wrestling, even if they don't want there to be.
Yeah, we're just not giving any of it to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why Walsh is trying to recruit you.
I know.
Meanwhile, he says he does it post for the site, and book sales go up. His book sales skyrocket. Yeah, you're welcome, Walsh. You fucking trying to steal my guy here. Killing me, man. We got anything else before we get out of here?
I don't think so. We'll be back on Thursday. So, yes, to summarize, the Divas Revolution is bullshit.
It's complete bullshit. Stop. Don't accept the shit sandwiches they feed you just because you're being fed and just because the bread is nice to look at. Still shit that's in the sandwich, you guys.
Geno should be booking Taker Lesnar.
I am at this point. I'll keep doing posts, pushing it.
And John Cena should be a 16-time world champion. If you don't like that, you're going to have to deal with it.